Okay, good evening. We will call this meeting to order at 6:04, the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. First on the agenda is the Secretary's report. Did you guys have a chance to see the minutes and review them from March 24th regular meeting, April 14th, and the special meeting of May 4th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 24, April 14, and May 4th, special meeting May 4th.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And no opposed. Our first audience of citizens is up, and just a reminder, state your name for the record, and public comment should be held to basically a maximum of 5 minutes, but it's not a question and answer period. So would anyone like to address the board? Yep.
I can come this way a little bit if you'd like. That's easier.
We're good. Fine, yeah.
Thanks. Cool. You got my good side? All right, cool. So Jonathan Lambert, 62 Oak Ridge Drive. I'm actually here today as the Republican Town Committee chairperson. We noticed on the agenda tonight was an item to move the tax collector from a elected position to an appointed position. Our committee met last night and discussed this in depth, pros, cons, and as a group, we came up with the idea that this is not the best thing for the town of Deep River. We wanted to voice that opinion publicly here, just make it known to the board. We feel it takes away the right of citizens within this town to remove somebody when we feel that they're not doing their job. And it puts it solely within this group's power to do so. And or if that person is a hired person, they may be there for who knows, however long their career is, and there may not be mechanisms that I can actually remove that person. These were concerns that we came up with, that we thought. I know there's probably going to be lots of discussion on this. However, we wanted to take the time to bring that up now from the beginning. We don't feel that it's the best move for Deep River. So thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. So now number 4 is Sustainable Deep River. They have a presentation, solar energy presentation, and general group updates. And
Do you want me to start?
sure. And I have Emily. Emily, are you with Sustainable?
Don't be shy.
I'm with the Connecticut Green Bank.
Green Bank, okay. And Sarah mentioned you might want to share your screen. So I might need assistance with figuring out how to do that.
She said she could just talk through it.
Oh, okay.
If it's a problem,
Okay.
she can do that. So I guess I'll just introduce the topic. And so I'm Sarah Connor. I'm the chair of the Sustainable Deep River Committee. This is Jeff Gross. He's on the committee. And so we have a program that we think could be beneficial to the town that we wanted Emily to come and present. It is in regard to the Connecticut Green Bank has programs that helps municipalities, schools, businesses, and residents access financing incentives for solar, batteries, carports, etc. They provide education. They do free assessments and make recommendations and help connect communities with incentives to, for example, install solar on, for example, the elementary school on the roof, and then that provides opportunities for the town to save money on electric bills, and also the Green Bank helps finance and et cetera. So Emily's going to go into detail about that. So I think since Emily's here, we'll have her start, and then when she's done, when we're done talking about that, I can just give a brief update on the things that Sustainable's been up to, because we have a few really exciting wins that I want to share.
So she is able to share her screen, but
Okay.
is there a way to make it larger? Jeff, do you have a...
I've seen it.
Yeah, but I mean, is there a button I can push to make it larger?
Who knows?
Okay, because I tried to do the expand and it didn't. Cynthia, any tricks? Dwayne?
See that?
Donna's mine.
You can't see that far. Well, I did this
It's
one to
okay.
expand, and then
It didn't
it
really
did
work.
my,
It's okay.
like my notes or something, so. All right, well, Emily, we can see what you're sharing, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Basham.
Can
I'm
you
the
hear?
director on the financing programs team at the Connecticut Green Bank. Thank you for allowing me to join your board meeting this evening. I've got some slides to run through. I can't see you all, but I can hear you pretty well. So feel free to just interrupt me if the slides aren't moving through or if you have questions.
Okay.
Thank you for the introduction, Sarah. I'm here to introduce the Connecticut Green Bank and give an overview of our Solar Map Plus program, which is the Green Bank's program to support municipalities, state agencies, and affordable multifamily housing providers to explore solar options and provide really turnkey support from start to finish in adopting solar and storage projects. So if you're not familiar with the Connecticut Green Bank, just a quick introduction. We are a quasi-public state agency. We were created by the legislature in 2011. We're the nation's first state-level green bank, and our goal is to use very limited public dollars to attract private capital investment into Connecticut's clean economy. And with our programs and products, we help homeowners, businesses, commercial properties access clean energy in order to, reduce their electricity costs, make the communities more resilient, healthier, and help the state meet our climate goals. So one of our flagship programs here that I work on at the Connecticut Green Bank is the Solar Map Plus program. As I mentioned, our goal with this program is to just make it easier for towns to access solar and storage projects. So there's a lot of steps to doing these projects, especially at the front end, understanding if it's a good opportunity and just knowing how to get started. So our goal is to really simplify all of those steps and provide support all the way from identifying good sites, understanding the economic benefits, to running the competitive solicitation for a town, managing the installer, turning on the system, and providing financing. So it's really a one-stop shop option to make it easier to do these types of projects and provide you support along the way. So our program can really be broken down into 4 steps in terms of how it works. First, we do an analysis to identify which opportunities in your town are good candidates for solar projects. And then working with you all and the relevant stakeholders, we will help to do some in-depth feasibility. So we'll do a site visit, we develop a preliminary conceptual design of an installation, we run a financial analysis to show you the energy cost savings, and we offer our financing products. And so with all of these data points, municipalities are empowered to make a decision about what type of project they would like to move forward and what they can expect in return. Once a contract is executed, our program will run a competitive solicitation for an installation partner who will be the contractor installing the project on your property. In this program, we actually bundle all of the participating municipalities together to create a portfolio of projects that we put out for competitive solicitation. And this benefits the town in a couple of ways. You're able to achieve some economies of scale with the aggregation approach. So your project is going out to bid along with other projects that are on similar development timeline. And you're able to, get more attractive pricing rather than, bidding on a project on your own. And through that competitive pricing, we're able to pass on more better economics through the project. Once we complete our competitive solicitation and we've got our project team in place, we will actually present the final specs to show you the final financials of the project, and then Green Bank will actually manage the installation from start to finish, making sure that the project is built to all codes and standards, it's meeting all of the utilities regulations to interconnect the project, and can be turned on and generating savings. And then through our financing products, we're offering a third-party ownership model. So the municipality can go forward installing a project without upfront costs, generating energy savings from day one. And I'll go into that a little bit more here in 1 second. So as Sarah mentioned, we are looking at school opportunities which align with some of the goals in the state to help reserve some of the incentive capacity that we offer in Connecticut for projects that are located on schools. So last year was the first year in Connecticut's incentive program where they created a specific carve-out of incentives for projects located on schools. So this program specifically reserves 25 megawatts of capacity for school projects annually. And why this is significant is in the 4 years of our incentive program called the Non-Residential Renewable Energy Solutions Program, there is a highly competitive program to access the incentives that are available for solar projects. And school projects found themselves having to apply year after year in order to secure an incentive through the program. So with this carve out, it sets aside this additional capacity so that solar projects aren't competing against other commercial projects for a limited pool of incentive funding. Additionally, the qualified school projects are able to take advantage of a higher tariff or higher incentive rate in this program. So the rates that are available, incentive rates that are available are equivalent to the medium category in the NRES program, which is a rich incentive that can be factored into the projects. Additionally, there are adders, incentive adders available if your project is a carport canopy, if it's located in a distressed municipality or located on a brownfield parcel, excuse me. So one piece of support that the Connecticut Green Bank offers is helping to align the project in the incentive program rules, identifying which adders the project could qualify for, and helping to submit the application. So through Solar Map, we have designed our financing offerings around how the incentive program works. So they're tied in together and aligned as one sort of revenue sharing mechanism for the town. So through the NRES program, there are 2 different types of incentives that are available. I'll run through both types of incentives just so you have a sense of how the benefit could really matriculate to the town. So this first slide here, and I apologize if the visual is a little bit small for everyone in the room. I'll make sure that the slides are available afterwards, but I'll walk through this. So this is how our financing would work under the buy-all, sell-all tariff in the program. So we offer a power purchase agreement where it's essentially just like it sounds. The town would be purchasing the power that's generated from the system. This is a third-party ownership model where the Connecticut Green Bank is the system owner. So we are providing all of the upfront capital needed to hire the installer, buy all the equipment, do the installation. We oversee the development, construction, and operations. And then once it's turned on, we're responsible for all the maintenance and repairs that are needed for the full term of the agreement. The system is installed on town property, and it's generating electricity that is being sent to the utility. The utility is purchasing that electricity, and they are making a payment to the project for the tariff rate that is secured. So they're buying that electricity, and they are sending that tariff payment to the host accounts in the town. So once we execute a power purchase agreement between the town and Connecticut Green Bank, you would assign a portion of this tariff payment to the Connecticut Green Bank to serve as your PPA payment, essentially paying us back for the investment that we make in the upfront cost to install the project on the property. And then there's a second portion of that tariff that is your benefit to installing the project on your property. So you'll receive an economic benefit for the project. The second option, it's very similar. This works with the second type of incentive that's available through the NRES program. It's called the netting tariff. Similarly, we're using the Green Bank's power purchase agreement. So Green Bank is the system owner. We are installing the system on your property. We're still providing all of the upfront capital to construct the system, and we're still playing the same role of overseeing the development, construction, and asset management of the system. This system is tied in behind the meter at the location where it is installed. So let's take the elementary school, for example. The system would be installed on the property and would be electrically tied into the meter behind at the school. The electricity would be generated from the system and would be used at the school instantaneously, reducing how much electricity you would have to buy from the utility. Any additional generation that the system produced would be put back on the grid and credited to the town at a later date. The municipality would be purchasing the electricity that's installed from on the school property and be paying the Connecticut Green Bank a power purchase agreement payment for that electricity that's generated. So it's very similar in the two structures. The things that differ between the two are the type of incentive and how the benefit accrues to your electric bills. As Sarah mentioned, we provide two different types of feasibility reviews through our program. And we went ahead and took a look at Deep River Elementary School. This is really just our desktop review, which is a very high-level preliminary review that Connecticut Green Bank did remotely of the school. So here we're just looking at the physical space on the school campus that could be used for a solar project. You'll see the outline here indicating that there is physical space for a rooftop installation at the school. Our conceptual estimate for a system size would be approximately 329 kilowatts DC and would be projected to produce about 395,950 kilowatt hours in the first year of production. We didn't see too much usable space for a ground mount or carport installation at this time, but these conditions would be field verified with the next step of a feasibility assessment, which would be an on-site visit to verify conditions. A couple of comments here for our desktop review is that we do check the grid capacity. It's a location-specific estimate from the utilities of how much hosting capacity they have to accept a solar project. There's 5 megawatts of hosting capacity on the circuit that Deep River Elementary School is connected to, so it has plenty of hosting capacity to allow 325 kilowatts to be interconnected, which is a really great barrier to eliminate for the project. The rooftop looks to be in great condition. We're still looking to confirm the age and exact materials, but it looks like it would be in great condition for a rooftop installation. And we could also, once on site, verify if a carport could be a potential here as well. I did just want to flag that we have verified at this point that the site is a priority site in the school carve-out program, so it has a potential to receive an incentive adder. So just from our cursory review here, Deep River Elementary looks to be a good candidate for a solar project. So next steps here would be to confirm if the town would like to participate in the Solar Map program. We'd walk through those 4 steps that I mentioned previously. Our next opportunity for participating in our competitive solicitation would be this summer. We'd be looking to run our next competitive solicitation. So we want to confirm Deep River's participation in the program prior to that, so we could include you, versus, Deep River running your own RFP for a project. We would memorialize your commitment to the program through a letter of intent. This is a non-binding 2-page agreement showing that you'd like to participate in the program and any sites that you would like us to evaluate for solar development. We would do a site visit following your participation in the program and prepare you to participate in the upcoming RFP. A couple of things that I'll close with from a timing standpoint. In the solar world, we're working towards a couple of big deadlines in terms of tax credits. So the project would need to be safe harbored by July of this year to lock in the last phase of the investment tax credit that's available for solar projects. Connecticut Green Bank, as the system owner, would take care of the steps needed to secure equipment to lock in the investment tax credit. So we would take those steps in order to do that. And we would also include those considerations into our RFP solicitation as well. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. We've got some contact information on this page for my colleague Katie, who would be following up with you all should we participate in the program. So I'll just pause there, see if there's any questions.
Anybody? I have a couple. So if we, thank you for your presentation, by the way. If we, the town, decide, so the Board of Selectmen, you've given us a lot to think about, so we obviously have to now mull it over and let Sarah and Jeff kind of do a little more explaining, that sort of thing. But, so if we decide we'd like to move forward, letter of intent, does that lock us into a project, or does that just get you guys started to look at sites in Deep River and where we could maybe have some incentives and how that would help the energy bills and those sort of things? Or are we locked in? Once we say we're interested, then we have to pick a project? Are we kind of like,
Yeah, so the letter of intent is a non-binding agreement. It's a template agreement that I can send over right after the meeting via email. It does ask to identify specific sites that you would want to participate in the program. And it's a non-binding agreement, but we're just looking for commitment from the town that you would like the Green Bank to start doing diligence on those specific sites. As I mentioned, we've got to procure some equipment to essentially safe harbor the tax credit that is pretty critical to project economics for solar. So we have to do some spending on our end, and we just want some agreement in town that you want those projects or project to participate and move forward. It doesn't commit you to signing a contract with us. It just commits you to work in good faith towards the power purchase agreement, which is also a template contract that we could provide as a follow-up option. And you wouldn't be asked to sign that agreement without a formal proposal for a project.
okay.
No, Emily, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm just I am a visual guy, and I like to see the numbers in front of me. I think it's a great project and great incentives. I'm very familiar with it. I have a friend that's doing a project here in Deep River that's doing the same exact thing on a large scale. But I like to see the numbers of what it's actually going to save the town of Deep River.
Sure.
Because
I'm glad to hear there's some projects going on down.
years ago, before granted, solar's come a long way. But years ago, we put a solar project up on our junior high school when I was on the Board of Education, and it never panned out like it was supposed to. It cost us town and,
Economics.
excuse me,
It never panned out with the economics or?
with the economics.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why I'm a little leery. I support it. I think it's a great concept, but again, I just want to see the numbers of how it's going to benefit our taxpayers.
Emily,
Sure.
do you have one of those case studies that you walked us through? I know it's not specific to Deep River Elementary School, but
Just anything.
yeah, I mean, just to give an idea, and also like maybe a project of similar size, and also as far as other municipal sites, when they did their desktop study, I gave them a list of all the municipal buildings, and they looked at all of them, and the elementary school was by far the best opportunity, particularly because of the
Flat roof.
carve out for schools, but also because it's a new roof. There aren't any trees. You know, I mean, you could put something on the town hall, but it's older and you probably don't want panels on the historic building. So,
Well, we don't know if the roof could support more
right,
weight up there.
exactly. So I think, and Jeff, jump in if you want, but
That'd be nice.
we separately met with Emily after they did the desktop study of all the buildings. And it just was very clear that this was the best opportunity. And given the timeline, it just seemed to focus on the one that made the most sense and had the most opportunity for benefit for the town.
Yeah, and I think some of these cases had cash flows, the two options, right? So pro forma, you just kind of estimate, but money up front, money monthly. Right?
Yeah, so Emily, could you, I guess, just walk through what that looks like for a similar project?
Or you should just send something to you and you send it out to us. Or
Yes, we have a case study for solar projects that we did in Groton, and we created one also for solar projects we did in Manchester. So those are also on schools and can, I don't have them right at my fingertips to pull up, so I apologize, but we can send those case studies as a follow-up so you can get a sense of the economic benefit that comes from these projects. Those participated in the predecessor incentive program, and so this has the new school carve-out incentive that's available as of last year. So as Sarah mentioned, it has a higher, richer incentive specifically for school projects. This entire program is really designed to, as we do diligence, we're providing the town with information to help understand the benefit of the project. So participating in the program is sort of committing to that journey of, looking at the roof condition, understanding if that's a good area to do an install, what would be the build cost, and then what would be the economic return for the town. So that's the pieces that we work to put together for you all as part of participating in the MAP program. So we're looking for some, that interest in receiving our support and our help kind of putting those puzzle pieces together. It wouldn't be until we put a proposal in front of you for a project that we would look for, a formal commitment to actually contract the project. At this point, we're just looking for your intention to participate in the program, and we do have those kind of desktop review slides for the other sites in town, but as Sarah mentioned, we really feel that the school is the best candidate and will provide the highest economic benefit back to the school and to the town. So that's why we suggested starting with that site. And when I send the slides, you'll have in the appendix the desktop review results for all of the rest of the sites.
Okay, great.
I have one other question. So Emily, given the time frame to get the I forget what you called it, to safe harbor, the tax credits. So when would the Board of Selectmen need to be comfortable, and if they wanted to move forward, like what would that timeline look like to make it feasible to have the pieces in place for that safe harboring?
Yeah, so the commitment we're looking for now is that letter of intent to participate in the program, and we're looking for that, unfortunately in short order, because we have to do this tax credit safe harboring before July 4th, 2026 is the deadline for the last sort of phase out of the federal tax credit for these projects. And so Green Bank has to include specific sites that would receive equipment to safe harbor the project in economics, really locking in those economics. So while we're looking for the letter of intent to participate now, it wouldn't be we wouldn't be looking for you to sign an agreement for the project until we show you those formal economics.
Okay.
So this is just signing on now, just to get the ball rolling, to show us, to lock in the credits before July, correct? And then to
Yes.
give you permission to start presenting us with some facts or figures.
Exactly.
So it's not costing us anything to sign on now, correct?
Exactly. It's no cost technical assistance, no obligation to move forward, even after we present you with, a formal proposal. It's just giving us the green light that you want to participate, you want to pursue a project at this location or multiple locations. Green Bank will start doing that diligence, and we'll come back to you with more information as we lock in the modeling for the project.
Okay, thank you.
And Emily, I think in both of the financial cases that you mentioned, I believe there's no money up front, but positive cash flow going forward. Is that kind of your understanding?
Correct. We only propose projects that provide a significant economic benefit to a municipality. Obviously, it's up to each municipality to determine what significant is. We are using a portion of your property to install something that's fixed on there for 20 years. And we are, interacting with the site to do the installation. But it is an economic benefit. It will provide energy savings for 20 years. To participate in the program, again, it's no cost technical assistance. So Connecticut Green Bank does this diligence. We provide all the upfront capital to build the system. And what we offer, our financing products, are third-party owned offerings. So Connecticut Green Bank is the system owner, and we are entering into a power purchase agreement where you are receiving an economic benefit from the system.
Because we currently have a solar farm set up right now at Verigy, I think that's how you pronounce it. They have a 20-year lease with us. They're just leasing our property, and we're getting a little over $40,000 in return, $43,000 I believe, for next 20 years. And that cost us nothing. They put their panels on our property, and we're getting a check yearly for it.
So we're just a landlord in that
Correct.
in that situation, right?
Yeah, that's like a site lease arrangement.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, this is a little bit similar in the sense that you're not owning the system, you're not responsible for maintaining it, but this is, it's not a site lease, it's a power purchase agreement, which does give us a license to access the property to do the installation, but we're really just sharing in what's generated from the system. So the financial benefit that comes from the system depends on the kilowatt hours that are coming from the panels. So we are incentivized as the system owner at the Connecticut Green Bank to install it using the best equipment, to monitor it closely, to ensure that there are, very limited downtime, because that's how the incentive is generated, that's how the revenue is generated, is dependent on the system producing. And it's also how Connecticut Green Bank gets paid back for building the system.
Okay. One last question, and you may not be able to answer it. We move forward. We've moved forward with this. We put them on our school roof. And you said we don't own them. We're just basically giving you the space. What happens, God forbid, but in 3 years, 5 years, there's a problem with our roof, and the panels have to come off to get it repaired? Who pays for that? For taking the panels off and putting them back on?
Good question.
Yep, that's an excellent question. It depends on the reason for removing the panels and having to reinstall them. If it's an issue related to the system, we would send an inspector out there to verify which portions of the system are, contributing to that issue. It would be our dime to remove the panels, make those repairs, and replace the panels.
Okay.
If it's an issue that's not related to the system, it would be the school's.
School responsible.
We do incorporate some assumption of downtime over the 20 years for unexpected reasons, but if it's extended, then that cuts into the savings that the town would receive. So
Okay.
that is part of our top level diligence that we do for a site. We don't want to install a system on a roof that is not structurally sound, or it is due for a replacement during the term.
Thank you very much, Emily.
Yeah. And how about if we sell the building? Does the new person kind of take over the lease, or what is that? What happens?
Yes, it can be transferred.
Okay.
So Emily, next steps would be you're going to send the slide deck, what the letter of intent looks like, so that it can be looked at. And then if the Board of Selectmen decide to sign the letter of intent, that's basically saying, we're interested enough that we want you to come look at the site, build a business case for it, so that we can decide whether it's worth it for us to do it or not. Is that right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay.
I'll send the slides, I'll send the
Great.
letter of intent. We'd look for you all to sign it as soon as you're ready. We would include it in our safe harbor activities. We would include it in our next RFP this summer. And we would turn back a specific proposal with an exact system size, generation, and economic benefit.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Well, thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate y'all putting us on the agenda.
Thank you.
So do we have time for me to just give you a quick update on things that we've done? And just super quick.
Sure.
Library garden's been installed. I don't know if you've been over there, but
Beautiful.
we're pretty psyched about that. We are still looking for a centerpiece, sculpture, piece of art. We got some feedback that our application was intimidating. It was not meant to be. So it does not need to be a professional artist. It can be a hobbyist or a stonemason. So please share that we're looking for that. There's a $1,500 opportunity for an artist to present an idea. I also wanted to put the Sustainable Committee's backing to the proposed Arts and Culture Commission. Sustainable Connecticut has an action, 4.2, supporting arts and creative culture, which includes establishing a cultural office and arts and cultural department. Sustainable Connecticut recognizes that ongoing municipal support demonstrates the town's values, encourages and invests in arts and culture, recognizes its positive impact on the economy, quality of life, and civic vitality. So our committee is very excited about that opportunity to have the town have a formal group of folks that are ushering projects and that vitality to our town. Warriors, we started the town streetlight survey, so we're compiling all of that information. There's still some that need to be put on that survey. Again, there is actually an action behind doing that type of a survey, because you're able to use that inventory to rationalize the use of all the streetlights, reduce light pollution, and of course, hopefully reduce cost. Our energy campaign is continuing. We have met our goals, but we have more money to put behind the project to help connect people who could use savings in their own energy costs with this program. It's called Heat Smart, but energy bills are expensive in the winter and the summer when you start cranking your air conditioning, so
Do you have a number of how many of our residents actually participated in that Heat Smart energy audits of their
I
homes?
should have that at my fingertips. We have over 8 income eligible participants, and I think 25 residents have completed
That's
it.
wonderful.
And everyone who's done it has said it's been amazing, particularly people who are income eligible, because if they decide to if they're recommended to do installation or other upgrades, a lot of it is no cost to them. So it's a great program to look into for all people. And
residents can still partake.
residents can
There's
still,
not a deadline
yep, it's
there.
all on our webpage. You can link to it. It's ongoing, and if anyone has any questions, they can certainly reach out to me or anyone on our team. And I did want to say that we're continuing to do the energy benchmarking, looking at energy use in all the municipal buildings. And Paula in finance has been very helpful. So kudos to Paula for her help. We just received feedback on the initial compilation of information, and so I may have more questions. So patience with the questions would be appreciated. But again, having this information lays the groundwork to looking at overall energy use in the town and opportunities for reducing it and cost. Do you have anything to add to that really fast update? Okay,
Well,
thank you.
thank you.
very much.
Thank you
And
for your
the
good work.
garden looks very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, next on there are 2 appointments. We have our first appointment of Juanita Figueroa to the Community Health Committee, term to expire 12/1/2026. And we had tabled that from a previous meeting, to give you both an opportunity to reach out.
I spoke to her.
Yep. Is that something we
Yeah, no,
want to
I'm
move
good.
forward tonight?
I'm good with her.
Fine. Okay. And then, do we want to do both appointments together, or?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do both. And the next appointment is for Lori Sanfratello. Telio? Is that how it's? Sanfratello, sorry. I took my glasses off, and now I'm like, I can't see what I wrote, but here we are. To the Economic Development Commission, term to expire 12/1/2027. So I don't know if you had a chance to reach out to Lori, but Lori is here.
I have not, but I'm good. Lori doesn't have to go to the town meeting, right?
Right, so if we make the appointments tonight, then Juanita's, anything on the Community Health Committee does have to go to a town meeting, so it would just be the next step. So we'd move her forward and then,
I'll make a motion to move Juanita Figueredo to the Community Health Committee to a town meeting,
okay,
term to expire 12/1/2026.
okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no, none opposed. Okay, and then the term appointment of Lori, we did hear from the chair of the EDC as well. Lori approached Jenny Gray Roberts at the town meeting when Jenny had mentioned there was an opening at the EDC, and she had stood up. And then I know Jeremy Chase had also, the secretary of the EDC, had forwarded your information. So I'd say we've had positive feedback from at least 3 members of the EDC that they would love to have you on there, so.
I'll make a motion to appoint Lori Sanfratello, hope I pronounced it right, to the Economic Development Commission, term to expire 12/1/2027.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So Lori, you are officially appointed. So you can start attending their meetings and you're a voting member now. Okay. Thank you. Okay, neighborhood assistance grants. So I have we've had 3 different applications, one from Deep River Congregational Church, Deep River Housing Authority, and Tri-Town Youth Services. So I put them all on the agenda. We are waiting to hear from the Housing Authority about what their project is, if they do want to move it forward this year. And Tri-Town, I have not heard back from either. But I do have Allison here from the Deep River Congregational Church.
And I sent you the.
And you sent that printed off? If you want to give us a quick
So-
overview.
In brief, Deep River Congregational Church is a nonprofit. Key presence in the town because our building and grounds is actively used on average 6 days a week, year-round. And that takes energy, that takes maintenance. The more that we can, conserve energy with the help of programs like this, the better we can serve the public. And just a quick snapshot, Shoreline Soup Kitchen and Food Pantry, we have free community suppers every Thursday, year-round. And then many groups use our building to meet, including Alcoholics Anonymous, Guiding Eyes for the Blind Puppy Training, Connecticut River Valley Symphonic Band, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, etc. So we want to keep our building in a position to be able to serve. And the projects that we need are energy conservation upgrades, air handler replacement. You heard that last year, we have 2. It's 30 plus years old and we've been told that they should last 25 years. So we're, kind of praying that it keeps going, but that'll have to be replaced. And then some ceiling reglazing of drafty windows, insulating materials. So the needs are large. We've got $24,850 estimate for this, which keeps it under the audit level. So we wouldn't have to worry about that, and it doesn't cost the town anything. We just need your support, your endorsement that yes, we're a bona fide nonprofit here in Deep River, and then we take it from there.
Very good. And so the next steps, if we approve it, would go to a town meeting. And again, the town meeting right now has not been set, but we do have that July 1st, June 30th deadline. So is that, we want to move that forward tonight with the vote, or do we want to wait?
I'm good with it because it's has
Yeah.
nothing with the town, so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to move the Deep River Congregational Church for the Neighborhood Assistant Grants Program to a town meeting.
Okay. And a second? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. Well, we can skip a few of these because it looks like we're running over time, but the 250 committee, they've been meeting regularly, and we're going to do maybe another postcard out with some updated programming that's been added since the last program went out, or the last postcard. And they did make up a new website, which I put in the newsletter, so I didn't jot it down tonight, but so I can't remember what it was, but I'll make sure it's in the newsletter. And our new website is going to go live in a couple days, the new town website. So we're hoping to have the active links right from there for like the 250, the EDC, all these other groups. So we'll kind of look for that. Let's see, town and school budget discussion. Again, we're kind of running low, so I'll just do a quick overview. The town budget is getting voted on today. I know people won't see this for a day or two, but we're hoping it passes. And then next Tuesday, June 2nd, is the Region 4 referendum. Region 4 met after the referendum on May 5th, I believe it was voted down. They did have a public hearing on that Wednesday, proposed, after a lot of discussion, they had a lot of input from the public, voted to move forward with the exact same number that was voted down before, which I found very insulting, but that's my personal opinion. So, but we are voting again on that particular number, so it's still the $25 million, whatever that exact number was for the school budget, will be back on the referendum for next Tuesday. So we are urging all residents to come out again If you didn't come out last time, here's your chance to come out. If you came out last time, I apologize, but you have to vote again. So, so next Tuesday from 12 to 8, at the library community room, so. Let's see, but I did also, Board of Finance worked very hard on the budget, so kudos to them, and again, hope the town budget passes tonight, so there's a lot of work that goes into that. Let's see, tax collector position. We had brought this up last year, 2 years ago, and our tax collector has indicated she will not be seeking re-election, and she also is going to retire this November 2026. So we are going to be looking to fill that position, and I thought it was a good time to bring up the discussion again about making the tax collector position not an elected position, which a lot of towns are leaning away from now and have changed. And some of that is there's so much training that's involved in that position that when you take the training, which is like a 3-year process to get trained and certified, it's almost time to either re-up your election, run again, or you haven't had time to finish all the training before your term is up. So a lot of our neighboring towns have changed that. So basically, it's a hired position then. It would still be allowed, that's not to take away if you have a very talented or a very skilled, and somebody from Deep River could certainly still have that position. It just gives you a deeper talent pool to pick from if your position is open. So that's the thought behind entertaining this again, if we want to change it to an appointed, so I call it appointed, but it's basically a hired position from elected. So we would do it like any other hiring position that, like with our finance director, we had actually a preliminary interview committee, then we had a secondary interview committee. So there'd be a lot of people interviewing this person to move forward to,
So when is the tax collector done?
I think she's done beginning of November. So we have some time. But what we'd have to do in this position, if the Board of Selectmen decided it was worth moving it forward, we'd have to have an ordinance rewritten and then go to a town meeting. So it's not something we can just decide here. We would just sort of decide to get it moving forward to see what the townspeople thought. If it comes back and it gets voted down, then we're still in the exact position that we're in now. So you guys can think on that because it's new on the agenda, and then I know we're running out of time, so I don't know if you have any initial thoughts, or again, if you want to sit on it, we can put it on the next agenda, and then we talk about it some more.
We'll talk about it.
Chester just changed theirs a couple years ago, so if you go on the Chester website, you can see the discussion that was had at the Board of Selectmen meeting, their new ordinance that was written. But again, it would be like any other hired position where if the person's not fulfilling their job duties, then they are released from their, and somebody new comes in. So, anyway. Okay, so we'll table that for the next thing, or we'll put it on, I guess we just discussed it, but we'll put it on the next agenda too. Formation of the Arts and Culture Committee. So we've had this on the agenda many times. I thought the general consensus was that you both were in favor of forming it, and I thought if we could just form the committee, then we could come up with who, we still have to then appoint members to it, we have to come up with the terms, and the mission statement and all that, which I had kind of done that general one that I'd come up with. So we can officially form it though tonight, and then we can appoint people. We'll just kind of come up with the body tonight, and then if that's what you guys are in favor of doing that, I'd like to move it forward somewhat.
I'm fine with it. We've had enough discussion about it, so.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to form an Arts and Culture Committee with 7 members to start, and we will appoint the members at future meetings and then come up with the mission statement. We can adopt either what I came up with, or after we appoint the members, we can work with them to come up with that, tweak the mission statement, that sort of thing. But so tonight, my motion will be to form a Arts and Culture Committee with up to 7 members, or including 7 members.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. Acknowledgement of a generous bequest received from the town from the estate of Charles Nessler. We just wanted to officially thank the estate of Charles Nessler. They gave the town very generous bequeath of $50,000 payable to the town of Deep River as a beneficiary listed in Charles Nessler's will. Mr. Nessler specified in his will that this bequest to the town of Deep River is to be used for, quote, such public or private use as the Board of Selectmen or its designee may appoint, excluding things ordinarily covered by the town budget, with the thought that I have favored large native trees and the public library in the unordinary, and I disfavor expenditure of for public events such as concerts, shows, etc., or anything related to tourists. As the selectmen deem necessary, part of this bequest should be spent to discern the best use of this balance, So, some of the ideas that had popped into my head when talking to the attorney about this, we years ago were coming up with a beautification committee, and there was going to be, they had taken down some of the Japanese ornamental trees on Main Street, and the thought was that they were going to be replaced with something. 2 of the merchants since I've been in this position have said, when are we getting some new trees planted? So I thought maybe that would be one of the perfect things to spend some money on, maybe some new trees. And I know the trees here in front of Town Hall, we've talked about, those kind of have their life expectancy is getting to the point where we need to take them down. They're very messy. We've had some people trip on the little pods. You know, these are sweet gum trees, and they have the little seeds. Very messy, and now they are towering over the roof. So I've had a roofer tell me that was really not good for the building either, because they cause a lot of shade, and we've got some, mold up there, or the moss that grows in the shady spots. So, so perhaps that could be something where we use the funding to put in more mature trees. So if these get taken down, we're starting with a tree that's not a very, small little sapling or something. So we can discuss what we're going to do with the money, but I just wanted to give public acknowledgement, and the town is very grateful to the estate of Charles Nessler, so we do appreciate it. We have tight budget, as everyone knows, so this very generous gift will go a long way.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Our second audience, citizens. Anyone? And then just a couple things, the Selectmen report. Wanted to give a shout out to the Memorial Day American Legion. I was very happy to go to many events on Friday. Went to one at the Valley, the Roots of Remembrance. So shout out to Mr. Naggett and the 3 students at Valley that pulled that together, along with the staff at Valley. I know Principal Burrill was very, supported that. But then there was a nice ceremony there. There was one at the elementary school. And then Sunday there was a nice ceremony at Winthrop Cemetery, Winthrop Baptist Church, Sobieski Club. And then yesterday, so many people turned out in that rain, and what a lovely honor to our fallen heroes. So just wanted to thank the American Legion for doing that. I know they had lovely wreaths, came from the new Enchanted Blooms here in Deep River. They were beautiful wreaths that were put on the different monuments. So let's see, the paving, RFPs for paving have gone out. And I also wanted to give a shout out. Summer concerts are all set for Park and Rec. Lovely lineup here. The 250 committee has also done a 5-piece bluegrass band. That's coming up. That'll be the first one on June 11th. And then the Park and Rec, they all start in July. And then 6th grade, I wanted to give a shout out to, they're doing a walkathon, and they're raising money for a cause in Africa. So they would like all the public to show up if you can. Tuesday, June 9th, and they'll start walking at 9 and they end at 1, right over here at the school. And They said they'd love the public to come and cheer on the kids that are walking, or make a small donation for their cause. Oh, and the Winthrop sign, that was the other thing. It's all been trenched, the electric is all hooked up, we're just waiting for Eversource to hook us up. We've paid the bill to Eversource for the hookup. So,
Good to go.
fingers crossed that that'll be illuminated shortly, and we will start having messaging for the Winthrop folks.
Good.
And also wanted to compliment again the Gates family for putting the flags in the Winthrop section of Deep River. We've heard a lot of compliments, and so I just wanted to say again, thank you. When you go over that rise and you're heading into Winthrop and the flags are flying, it's really remarkably beautiful, so thank you. Anything else, you guys?
Thank you.
All right, 7:05, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you. Second? All right.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Board of Finance meeting for Deep River, May 26th, and it is 7:10. So let's start with the roll call. Catherine Russell.
Here.
Carmela Balducci.
Here.
Jacqueline Calamari. Barry Luff.
Here.
Michael Weglars.
Here.
And myself. So everybody's here. Great. Welcome back, Barry.
Thank you.
She's not here, she couldn't make it, so I'm going to report it. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, Cassidy's mom is getting the Educator of the Year award, I think. She's a teacher.
Oh,
That's nice.
Or for her district or something. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
May 26th, Board of Finance meeting.
I went sitting in a pumpkin over, but you heard about it.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is approved minutes from regular meeting of March 24th. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, that's unanimous. Second one is approved minutes from April 7th, 22nd, 24th, and May 4th budget workshop meetings.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, that's passed. Next, audience of citizens. Any business to come before the board? There is none. Okay. Number 5, treasurer's report. Tom?
Yeah, thanks. Everyone has the report, I presume. I just handed it out to everybody. Thanks. And Paula, thank you for sending it out also. Just looking at the Deep River Town Deposit Report dated actually today. Nothing earth-shattering there. The rates are stayed the same. And our general fund account of $588,755. I will be making a large wire transfer the next couple of days, probably $900,000 to take care of some of our school payments. Other than that, as far as that report, I think everything is okay. If we go to the summary, our general fund balances, if we compare this month to last month, there's a negative amount of $140,643 difference from 526, or from 427 to 526. Rate changes, as far as the Federal Reserve goes, I think the last interest rate change was on March 18th, 2026, unless I missed something. There were no changes. As far as our banks, Liberty Bank, the last change that they made was on February 4th, where the rates reduced from 4% to 3.7. That was kind of expected. They kept that 4% rate for longer than I thought they would. Sendbank, the last rate change they had was back in December 23rd. They went from 3.75 to 3.5. On our capital improvements borrow, the total amount that actually started that account was $1,425,000. There are no disbursements made on that account this month. To date, the amount dispersed has been $950,691.93. So we still have $474,308. That includes the accrued interest that still can be drawn on that particular account. The interest that we earned from 427 to 526 was $1,245.80. And again, I put on here that the highest rate that we can, allowable rate that we can receive on that particular account is 3%. It's due to the funds being borrowed from loan proceeds. For ARPA funds, right now, well, the original allocation of ARPA funds was $1,314,908.44. We have a remaining committed amount of $186,670.35. That amount will have to be dispersed by the end of the year. So the total dispersed to date is $1,128,238.09. Wire transfers, there are no wire transfers made this month, kind of a first. Our ECS monies, the Education Equalization Grant monies, we did receive our third installment back on 4/30. That was half of the actual proceeds. It was at $827,202.50. That's one of the reasons we didn't have to do a wire transfer. We were able to use those monies for like accounts payables. For next year, again, it will go from July 1st, 2020, our fiscal year, July 1st, 2026 to 6/30/2027. So the first installment that we'll receive with the new amount will be in October 31st, 2025. Total balances of all of our accounts, the only change we had was, again, from 427 to 526, it changed to $174,767.20. Our short-term investments, the budgeted amount for the fiscal year was $150,000. Year-to-date, the interest earned from up to May 22nd, 2026, so that's 11 months into this fiscal year. So we've earned $229,115.13 in interest. That gives us a percentage received year-to-date of 152.74%. So we're $79,115.13 above our budgeted goal of $150,000. There were no bond payments made in May. There will be a couple in June, but we did pay off the sewer construction bond, that USDA Clean Water Fund. That was paid in full. That was paid, well, the maturity date was 4/30/2026. So it's a biggie. Original amount was $3,375,000 principal. There was interest of $684,066.09 for total cost of $4,059,066.08. And that was for 20 years at 2% fixed rate. So that's gone. So that's good. So one less bond issue we have to worry about, but I'm sure there'll be one that will take its place. Just other notes, the quarterly pension meeting was held on Thursday, April 23rd, 2:30 at the Town Hall. The next scheduled meeting is for Friday, September 4th at 3, and we're going to have it at the Ivory Wealth Management office located at 124 Westbrook Road in Essex. I did call Jerry today, and because that actually is Labor Day weekend, right? Hopefully that's okay with everybody. If it's going to be an issue, we can change it. But for those of you who do attend, just let me know what you think. Other than that, I'm all set.
Can I ask about the capital improvement borrow? Because my understanding was we've spent that money, but it's still sitting there at 3%.
I know you brought that up before, Jackie. Paula and I.
It's been a couple of months, so I was wondering.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Again, we're not supposed to get more than 3% on those monies, so I don't think that's.
But what I'm saying is the money's sitting there, but it was spent out of general fund. So shouldn't the money move into the general fund?
I think that's a question for Paula. She was auditing.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there's money due from the general fund for multiple things. I will work on what the actual amount should be moved from one to the other. And I don't have that number for you today.
Yeah, we did actually talk about that, Jackie.
Because I'm just thinking, if we borrowed all that money and we're paying a percentage on it, we should have spent it. Because we're sitting here paying on money borrowed. So,
Yeah, no.
and it's been 4 years since we borrowed the money.
We'll probably table that to the item when we ask Paula what the update on the audit
Okay.
is, because that's, all that comes into the audit, so that's on our agenda, and we'll talk about it at that point in time. Okay, any other questions for Tom? All right, good report, Tom, thank you very much, very concise. And maybe for the next bond, if you can ensure that we can get 2% on that one also, we would appreciate it.
$9,000 in interest again.
Okay, Tim. See what we can do about that.
All right. Next on the agenda is recommendations of our selectmen.
I don't really have much to bring forward. We just wanted to recognize the estate of Charles Nessler. He bequests to the town, bequeathed, that's the word. I'll just read, I read this at the selectmen meeting, but people aren't in yet. Basically, his will bequests to the town $50,000 for such public or private use as we, the Board of Selectmen or its designee, may appoint. So he'd like things that aren't ordinarily covered by the town budget, and this is his words, with the thought that I have favored large native trees and the public library and the unordinary. And I disfavor expenditure for public events such as concerts, shows, etc., or anything related to tourists. As the selectmen deem necessary, part of this bequest should be spent to assert the best use of the balance. So again, $50,000, very generous gift to the town. And so one of our thoughts that just popped into my head, so I won't speak for the other selectmen, but perhaps beautification downtown with new trees that were part of a plan when the Japanese, the ornamental trees, the pear trees were taken down a couple years ago because they had reached they were really messy, dropping a lot on cars and that sort of thing. So the idea was to take those down and put new in. I don't know whether the town was planning to have the money to put the new in, but a couple of the merchants have asked me over the last couple of years of when do we get our new trees, that kind of thing. So this might be the perfect opportunity to beautify the downtown. But we'll talk amongst the selectmen and come back with but again, just wanted to acknowledge that.
Excellent.
Could a consideration be to put up some sort of a sign out front instead of that little one that goes in the lawn? Like Essex has a digital sign that says referendum and budget voting and Memorial Day parade and whatever. Like the one we have up by Devitt Field.
There was a lot of discussion, Carmelo, when the locations got chosen. There was a discussion to put it out here, a diagonal into the fountain. But with the fountain that was donated by Dr. Snow, people didn't want to distract from the historic building with something modern like that. But that certainly can be put back on the table.
I just think it would alert everyone in town for people who don't go that way all the time.
So I don't know if you could argue that would maybe be something related to tourists or something. So maybe it wouldn't be.
Just a thought to consider.
Yeah. Okay.
Will we be keeping a special budget line to track this?
I was going to ask Paula, how are you going to identify this 50,000 in the books so that we
That
can
will be, that will be kept separate and spent out. I think.
like we do the ARPA funds, or in that method?
And we could keep it in the new fundraising fund too, if we'd like to have it kept there.
All right, as long as you're keeping it separate, but whichever you decide.
We're just all hoping that the town budget passes.
There's a big turnout, but I don't want to be negative.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for selectmen. Any questions on the selectmen? All right. All right, next one is an update on anticipated 2026 financing. I don't really have any new updates. The hook and ladder fire truck is still due in August, which is the first major payment for the hook and fire. And the firehouse status, they continue to meet. I know the architect report is, I think it's due out at the end of, is it May or is it end of June? No, it's either the end of May or early June. And at that point, we were going to get together as a combined group to hear the output of the architect's report, and that will determine the timing of the funds needed for the firehouse. So more to come on that. Any questions on that? Okay, next item is our 24-25 audit, and Paula, if you can give us an update on what's going on and give us an anticipated.
Hoping by the end of June now. Things are quite delayed. I have been working on all the bank recs that hadn't been done for well over a year when I started. Working 12-hour days, working weekends. The auditors had recommended hiring someone who was $235 an hour to help, and I knew you guys wouldn't do that. Getting close to being able to give them all of the bank recs. I sent another like 7 last night.
Yeah. So the bank recs are the long pole in the tent. Once the bank recs are completed,
They feel like they can start digging in. I'll have more journal entries for them, but they don't want me to concentrate on that. They just want to concentrate on the bank recs.
okay. And it's by the end of June. It's the end of June when bank recs are going to be completed, or is it the end of June?
Oh,
what
no,
you're anticipating?
when the audit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
So how many
anticipating.
hours would it take to have this consultant work to help get this done?
At this point,
Because working 12-hour days, 7 days a week is not sustainable.
let's say maybe 30, 40 hours.
Yeah, none of the bank reconciliations have been done since July of
That's like
$2024.
$6,000-7,000.
Yeah.
So,
It feels to me like money was spent.
How do we get in this position? Why did this happen? You know, like we're
I think
playing
previous,
catch up now. It
yeah, I
seems
think a lot of it was left
insane.
to the auditor's company to do it. When they came in, they'd say, you do it, which then the auditors, it cost us an extra $15,000 last year, if you recall. We all approved extra because the auditors worked.
Yeah, bank recs are normally done. I'm not sure why those were ignored that whole year. That's something that's typically done. That's like,
But you are working extremely many hours. You're here all the time, so.
Well, let's explore this as far as bringing someone in. So if you're doing the bank recs now, are you almost done with them, or you still got a long way to go?
I'm almost done. But again, to try to find time to do that, it's
Sure.
after hours. It's like,
So if we brought this consultant in, would you spend more time getting that person up to speed, or do you think that person would immediately add value for $200-something an hour? they pay?
I would assume that they would immediately add value.
yeah, that, I would assume I could just give her information and she could just go with it. But I've assumed a lot of things that people can handle that they can't, so.
So it would be roughly $7,000.
I think it's money well spent.
I do too.
I think we're kind of blind, you know, going back to your capital question, we have lots of things that we need to wrap up here and we're blind. I would support that if someone wants to make a motion.
Make a motion.
All right, I just have,
Yeah, I'll second.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
just so I understand. So was it the last finance director that wasn't getting this done? I'm still confused how it could be such a disaster with all the money we've thrown at that position and the software and the helper that got more money. I'm still confused how that happened.
I think the previous to the last director, there was an enormous amount of mop-up and looking for missing accounts and all sorts of things. That's where the major problem happened. It was several years ago and 2 administrations ago where that happened. So now the previous finance director dug in and did her very best. But we are still digging out from that period of time. But I feel uncomfortable with the timing of the audit, not having answers on things. And I can only imagine how hard you're working, most
To
sincerely.
give you guys an idea, I've made 116 corrected journal entries for last fiscal year.
Wow.
And another 95 for this year. And there are more to be done. And the time that you have to use to go in and when you come across something, it's not a simple, it's a simple, correction. It's like, okay, what were they trying to do? Where did the other side of that go? You're like researching and finding where is it so that you can then report it correctly. But it's a lot of work that's been done.
And the other thing we have to remember, how long did only one person accounting, what's her title? Your assistant?
Finance
Oh,
director.
her
No.
title is
Finance
accounting
assistant,
assistant.
Yeah, so we had an accounting system, an accounting assistant, and thank God she kept things together, but an accounting system running the Deep River Finance Department for how many months?
Part-time too.
Yeah,
Part-time.
Part-time.
So-
4 plus, yeah.
So she was basically just keeping things together, paying bills. And when you talk about entries being made wrong, typically in an accounting department, and Paula will correct me if I'm wrong, whenever entries are made, there's a check and double check. The person who puts the entry together and then the person who signs off on the entry. So that definitely wasn't being done for X amount of months. Previous to the previous person, I don't know if they did that. But those are controls that should have always been in place, and we kind of ignored that for quite some time. So when you talk about 150 something corrective
Well,
entries.
115 so far.
Yeah,
And
so,
more.
yeah, so that's,
But they don't want me to cut.
those are errors that were made
Mhm.
that had to be researched, identified, and fixed.
And I just want to clarify, I'm not doubting your work ethic, I'm not doubting all the hard work you're doing. I'm just, like I said, sitting on here for 4 years now, throwing a lot of money at that last position. The helper got more money, more hours. And did we ever fail an audit before?
Fail in audit?
Yeah, or not pass an audit?
You guys always have been written up for different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want to keep throwing money at it unless it's going to actually solve a problem.
And it does feel uncomfortable. We've just been through several months of looking at every dollar here. So, but if a relatively modest investment will solve this problem and position us to be timely and accurate going forward, it would probably be money well spent. If it would solve the problem.
Right.
Because we hear it, meeting after meeting after meeting, well, we can't do this, we can't decide this till the audit, and we can't get the audit till this is done, can't do that. It just feels like it's been going on for a long time.
Very well.
And I'll also say that we will not be able to bond the firehouse, the fire trucks, unless we have an audit. So we won't even go to market. We wouldn't even say that we don't have an audit yet, because that, it's just almost unacceptable at this point. So I think we gotta do what we gotta do to get this thing done.
Just with Michael, and I don't understand the process of upstairs, what you do and how you do it and all that sort of thing, but if it goes back for years, is it a system that wasn't structured correctly? Is it the people who were applying the system not knowing how to work with it?
Yes. So the auditors did close out fiscal year 23-24. That's the last time the audit was completed. And so they made journal entries to the best of their ability to where things should be at the end of that year.
And by the way, we paid about $38,000 for those auditors to do that.
Right.
Yeah, but since that time, I know Anne Marie must have tried quite hard to get things running smoothly. She was also introducing a new software.
We're running two
which-
systems at the same time.
Actually, they didn't do that. I was surprised. They cut at the end of
Well,
December.
that's what they told us.
And yeah.
That's what she said to me.
No. So, but anyway, so that was extremely time consuming.
And I think that's my point, I mean, we were told a lot of things that obviously didn't materialize, and we threw a lot of money at this issue.
Yeah. And I'll say that when it comes to system implementations, I've done a lot, big ones. I would consider myself an expert, and it takes a 3-year process. And we're talking about putting a new system with 1.5 people, with no help. I'm not surprised that we're here, because I've seen big corporations. The first year is you're going through a learning curve, all sorts of issues happen, you're going through corrections, you stabilize, you start fixing the system, and by year 3, you're finally stabilized. Some companies actually shut down production because it went so bad. Not any of the companies I was involved with, but that's what can happen with systems. So I'm not surprised you have a system here that is relatively new, and the person who was implementing it left, and then you came in with a half-implemented system. And it's you.
Yeah, and then someone who doesn't understand the big picture and where things are supposed to be posted, and she did her best. She kept this place running, and that vendors were paid, employees were paid, but a lot of things were not done properly. So, she tried. She tried. And the worst part is it was ending one year and beginning another, which just creates even more trouble.
So would a fix now make it work if there is an assistant hired to work the 30 or 40 hours, whatever you suggested? Does that then say, okay, it's fixed, everybody knows where it applies and how it goes?
Well, now at this point, and I took this over at least 5 months ago when I realized that things were so
discombobulated?
Yeah, that I approve everything before it gets posted now. So again, that adds some extra time that I have to really look and see, okay, is this correct? Things are getting better. I've implemented a lot of changes as to how things are supposed to be done. But that doesn't mean that I don't have to review what's being entered and make sure it's done right before I post it. Before it actually gets posted into the system.
Which is what I would have expected in my past life. That's just the way you always have to have a check and balance. No, I mean, to answer your question, this money we're talking about is to get the bank reconciliations completed so the audit can start.
Yes.
So that's not
so
gonna.
they can dig in.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of work that you have to do, but.
Now, can this person help with that work too, to get the audit?
I imagine they could, yeah.
Right, for $200 and some odd dollars an hour, I assume they're expert at this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
I suggest that maybe we make a motion not to exceed a certain.
We already made a motion.
Okay.
So we're having a discussion before we go to solidify this. If we bring somebody in, it'll take a couple of weeks to get this fixed. If we don't bring somebody in and we don't incur the extra cost, is it a month's time or 6 weeks to get it up and fixed, or what's the trade-off here?
It's so hard to judge. All this time has just been flying by, and I keep thinking, I'm gonna get it done, I'm gonna get it done, I'm gonna get it done, and it just doesn't. So I can't give you exact hours. Like, every time I think something's gonna be like, okay, I should get this one done, in 3 hours. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. So again, guesstimating 30 to 40 hours, it's a guesstimate.
And maybe never if we don't get the person in.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's the trade-off.
It can't be a never, you have to get the audit done.
Right.
Well, then Paul's
There has to be an
here,
end
16
date.
hours.
Yeah, you can't keep leaving on Paul. I drove by last night, and I saw her car here. I saw it Sunday here.
And frankly, I'd be concerned just from a safety standpoint.
Exactly.
So we have a motion, I'm sorry, can you repeat the motion for?
So it was to approve up to 40 hours for this consultant to come in and help.
Totaling amount of $7,000.
Okay, do I have a second?
Very seconded already.
Okay, oh geez, I don't know where I was thinking about all this. Okay, so can I have
You need a
vote?
discussion after your motion.
I
First
thought-
you make the motion, then you discuss it.
I thought okay,
Just-
do we have any other
So we
Just
made
the
the motion, it's
procedure.
been discussed.
Do we have any other discussion? Any ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Nays? Carmella? are you-
Aye.
Okay. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, and Paula, use it at your discretion, so obviously, point them in the right direction and only use them wisely, or her.
Right.
And could I just ask, what's a bank reconciliation?
To me, it's very easy, but because of the way things were posted and it takes hours. Sometimes it took me like over 8 hours to do 1 month because of the troubles that were going on.
8 hours to do
It-
what?
One bank reconciliation.
So you have a bank statement, you have all of the checks that cleared,
Activity.
the activity in the
Okay.
bank, and you have deposits.
Right.
So you have to reconcile at the beginning of the month to the end of the month, all the activity that happened on the books compared to what happened in the
In
bank.
the bank.
So it's like
Yeah.
balancing our checkbooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yep, just
Yeah,
on
yeah,
a
yeah.
larger scale.
Yeah, and so if you haven't done 2 years' worth, and how many bank accounts do you have?
How many are there?
5 or 6?
Oh, gosh, no.
One.
Like 15 to 20, there's a lot.
All right, so.
And some of them are just simple interest
Yeah, yeah,
coming in
yeah.
and out. Not all of them are.
So 20 times 24 months, basically,
So-
is.
What prevents
Like
this
you
from
do.
piling up again and building up to the same situation all over again?
Because
Because it's policy.
Because once you get, we're talking about catching up to something that was never done. The question would be, why wasn't it done? That's something that should be done monthly.
So the assumption is she'll be able to catch up with all of the past
Yes,
bank
and keep
reconciliations.
going.
And
Yes.
from that point on, for this new year, you're not gonna have that mess
Right.
again.
Right.
Okay.
That's the hope.
Okay. And so we approved roughly $7,000 just the 40 hours. My question is, I think we have authority up to 10 for a line item like this. Is that correct? I see some, yeah, okay. So we have authority to do this. Okay. Any other questions for Paula?
I guess my question is, are we doing reconciling current statements, and we just have problems with the past?
Well, you can't do the current without doing the past, so.
But are you looking at on a current monthly basis, month by month?
Oh, gosh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's my
I
question.
try to eyeball it and see where we are, what have we spent, what's gone through the bank, what do we need for monies going forward. Yeah, there's always that, but it's, a lot of stuff is missing. So currently, the main general fund, which has a lot of activity going through it, is done through July of 2025. So, still behind, but I want to do at least through August. When an audit is done, they don't just look through June, they look at the following 2 months to see what's happened over the course of closing one year and going into another, seeing the activity. So I'm trying to do all of the accounts at least through August of 2025 for the audit.
Will this 7,000 come out of next year's budget? What is the plan on where we're taking it, and do we have it in the budget?
We do not currently have it in the budget.
It'll be in this year, it'll be in this
Yeah,
budget, because that's when the
because it's
activity is.
happening-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening this year.
Where we book it to, it'll be somewhere in the finance department, I imagine, so. So we'll have one line on it, that'll be over budget by $7,000.
And so in 40 hours, the audit should be ready to go with this person?
Right.
Hopefully.
That's the hope. And again, I'm hoping this person that they're recommending can fit us in soon too. So,
Will they be physically here, Paula, or do you recommend, I think they're gonna be some sort of remote?
I think they have to be physically
They
here.
have to be physically here.
Or no?
I could, well, of course, I would have to do prep work to send
No,
it to
no,
them.
no, yeah,
so
$238 an hour.
Yeah.
They can drive a car here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would insist on it. Okay. All right, any other questions for Paula? Okay. The next item on the agenda is tax collector request. I attached this memo to everybody in the email. I will read it. In accordance with section 12-165 of the Connecticut General Statute, the attached is a listing of unpaid and uncollected taxes on the rate books of the town of Deep River. Submit for approval for transfer to the suspense tax book. The accounts for transfer total $65,698.65 and include 2 landlocked, unbuildable tiny lots that have been abandoned, Stanhull Hill and Glen Grove Road, and $50,220.70 in motor vehicle and supplemental motor vehicle taxes in 2021 and 2022 grand list, and $15,381.69 in personal property taxes on the 2021 grand list. The tax office has been unable to collect these taxes. In most cases, we have been unable to locate the taxpayer after exhausting the use of the U.S. Postal Service, Google search, and various other internet search engines. In cases where the taxpayer is found to be deceased, Connecticut Probate Court was searched. Even though the accounts will be removed from the active tax rolls, efforts will continue to collect all of these accounts. I've been in touch with TaxServe and will soon be working with them in an effort to recover these delinquent balances. Your favorable support for the suspense transfer is requested. I am available if you have any questions. So basically, $65,698 worth of delinquent taxes. Our tax collector would like to transfer them over to the suspense list, where she will move them over to a service to go after delinquent taxes.
But they're still going to be gone after.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the listing here of all the outstanding taxes?
Yes. I basically listen, but yes. So all the motor vehicles.
I know what the people on this list. Should I just give the information to Kate Kreider with the person's contact number?
Yeah, I would do that.
Maybe it's worth our all taking a quick look at the list.
Yeah, make sure your name's not on it. My name is not on it, I'm good. Not yet.
Am I in the list?
Okay, any other questions on this request? Do I have a motion?
Seconded.
All right, there's a motion to transfer the $65,698.65 to the suspense tax book, and there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? All right, it's unanimous, it passes.
Do we know from year to year, Carol, or anybody that may have that answer, how much is collected once it goes to that book?
I don't know, it probably isn't the same every year, you know.
Right, but I just wondered if we ever get a report that the 65,000 went there, 3 years from now, she comes back and says, we collected 20 of it. Do we ever learn that?
I don't know if that's something that routinely gets reported, but I can certainly ask her.
In our-
I'm sure she keeps track of it.
Yeah. In our budget, there was $120,000 that was put in the budget for delinquent taxes, I believe. And obviously, because of St. John's, we collected $1,250,000 delinquent. So we track it when it comes in.
Okay.
All right, next on the agenda. Review of the 25-26 budget. Okay, so we're at 12th, month 11 out of a 12-month fiscal budget. So that's 91% of the way there. Before I get into the details, because in general, we're in very good shape. We've collected quite a bit more revenue thanks to St. John's, but even in addition to that, we've collected more revenue. And our expenses are quite a bit below the 91% in total. So before I start, I want to ask Paula, is there any significant expenses that we're behind on as far as paying that are not showing up here? Because right now we look very favorable. So is there any, nobody has like a drawer full of entries that need to get made?
At this point, no, we do have, one more debt to pay, I believe it's like 23 grand.
Yeah. Okay, so that's nothing, I'm just looking for, somebody doesn't, I have this basket full of entries that haven't been made yet. There's nothing like that in the
No.
department. Okay. All right, that was an important question to ask, Chris. Okay, so I'll go through this quickly. I looked at it today. I didn't have a lot of questions. It really looks rather good. But I'll move quickly. If anybody wants to stop me and ask questions, please do. On the revenue side, in total, it's, obviously a very good story. We've collected $23,177,651 to date. So we're favorable by $1,988,000, and Mount St. John's is 1.8 of that. So even if you take Mount St. John's out, we're still favorable by about $188,000 on the revenue side. So that's in good shape. The only accounts in the revenue side that didn't hit our number were the license and permits. We're a little bit short on that, not by a lot, but by about $20,000 year to date. That's the only area where we're a little tight in revenue. And then, of course, that $275,000 that was intended to be a loan that we took out, we never did that.
Is there anything we know about planning and zoning? It's at 30%.
Are you on the revenue side?
I'm on page 1. Yes, I'm still looking at revenue. To make sure I understand this, Tim, if it's at 30%, we would have expected it to be closer to 90 now. So is this any sort of information or flag to us on something going on there, that it is below what they thought it would be, or we thought it would be?
This is all license and permits, so.
So it's less building than?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
There is the 650,000 that still hasn't been recorded for the last payment to Region 4.
Oh, yeah. But that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unacceptable.
Any other questions on revenue? All right. Okay, so moving on to expenses, the selectman office in total is at 75%, so they're favorable to budget. Again, I'm not going to go into detail unless anybody wants me to.
What page are you on?
Page 3, top of page 3, selectman office, 75% of budget, and the target is for month 11 is 91%. So if any department's at 91%, they're right on budget. Anything less than 91%, they're favorable to budget. So right now, the selectman office is favorable to budget. The finance department is right now.
I just have one thing to say that we do have one more payroll going in this month.
Okay.
That will be Thursday.
Okay.
So just to keep that in mind.
And off the top of your head, do you know how much total that payroll is? Well, if we know 3% was 70,000.
Oh.
I can't use my calculator, but. Yeah.
Figure out why the engineering is so
Let me say that the 93.
How many payrolls left?
194? 194 for a month.
Oh, you mean per month, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should
That's
have.
right, there are three payrolls left in this year, and then there'll be 3 working days that.
How many payrolls is there in total?
26.
26. 89,000 per year.
Yeah, about 93.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Okay, so we have 89,000 coming in a couple days. And, yeah, okay, good. The finance department's at 77.4%, so they're favorable so far. Elections is at 62.7% favorable. I'm sure that we'll have some more expenses coming up on that with the extra elections. Town hall operations, in total, they're at 91.9%, so they are, I will say, right on point. And is there any salaries in this one? No, there is not. Right? Okay, so they're right on budget. The town clerk, 80.8%, so they're below budget. And if you factor in their coming up payroll in a couple of days, they'll probably be right on budget. It's like, they'll still be favorable. Board of Finance is 64.7%. We still have some audit fees coming that way. Board of Assessments has not spent anything. The Assessor's Office, now I'm going to page 5, top of page 5. The Assessor is 70.4%, so they are favorable to budget. The Tax Collector's at 87.6%, favorable to budget. They'll be right on budget once that payroll is made. Special Services is at 86.5%, so they're in total favorable to budget. They have some, let's see, which ones haven't been paid.
Looks like the river pump out boat.
Yeah, the pump out boat, does that show up here?
Were we gonna pay it in WPCA?
Yeah, it was
So
planned that,
it's gonna be an in and out or something?
right,
So-
and they actually paid it directly,
Okay.
WPCA, instead of having us pay it and us bill them.
All right, but either way, it's not gonna show up here, so, for this one. Planning and zoning, going to page 6, the top of it.
Can we go back?
Sure.
So the valuation appeal, we put in 20,000, we still have 19,440. With only a month left, does that mean people are not appealing their valuations, revaluations, or we could end up getting hit in the next year's budget? And I don't know if anybody can answer it, I just thought I would put it
I
out there.
think there was a deadline on that. If you didn't call in or try to appeal, it kind of dropped dead. So I would imagine the number's going to be very low with appeals. That would be my guess,
Okay.
based on what I've heard.
Yeah, there definitely was a window.
Yeah.
And it shut a while ago.
I thought they
can
could still
always-
appeal.
yeah.
They can, because they appeal to my board, but then they could still take it to Superior Court.
Right, so
And I
then
don't
we
know
might
what
get
that
legal
window is.
fees, but, yeah.
And I assume what that's what some of this is to cover our legal fees if they go to Superior Court.
Sure.
So we'll
Anyway,
see.
We'll see. Okay.
Okay, where were we? We were on page
Tax
6.
collector.
Top of it. Yes. Planning and zoning at 61.8%, so they're well below budget. Zoning Board of Appeals, they spent nothing. Building official's over budget, but that has to do with the budget issue. We know the building department has always been $100,000 each year. So again, I don't know why it was budgeted at $38,000. Inland wetland, and that was corrected for this coming budget. Inland wetlands conservation at 68.
Can I just go back for a second? The secretary's salary is over by 10%. So do we just run it over when it goes over, or do they stop? I mean, we've still got time left. I'm just wondering what the status of that is, or what the process is for.
I've spoken to Dick about that, but the person in that position now has longer hours than the person previously did. So moving forward, when that person gets replaced, that'll shift back to different hours. And plus then we have all the permitting now is done online with that permit link. So that's gonna help save some time.
Yeah, that's been really successful.
So you feel this, whatever led to the overage has been addressed?
Is that your position, the town clerk position? Oh, yeah.
I know some of the extra time she spent was with the old permitting company that kept trying and trying and trying to get up and running. She was spending time with them. So I know that was part of the overage. But fortunately, that got stopped. We went to Permit Link and everything just.
We went to a
within short
system
amount of
that
time.
works.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Inland water conservation, 68.8%, favorable to budget. Insurance and bonds, 88%, favorable to budget. Do we have any more payments on insurance and bonds this year?
I don't believe we do. We paid cyber, both, the workers' comp and LAP, that's in 2 installments. We've paid both of those. There might be maybe another bond coming in for someone.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, turning to page 7, employee benefits. So that's very favorable, 58.6, because we have not made any pension payment, and we're not making any pension payment until the audit's completed?
No, it just gets paid the end of June.
It gets paid the end of June, okay.
What about the medical insurance? Do we see spending 100% of that? I mean, is there some big bill that comes in, or?
No, I don't see us spending 100% of the budget.
So is that typically a monthly billing?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so that's gonna be significantly favorable. Okay. Police protection, they're at 41%, but we haven't paid the state troopers yet. Once that payment is made, they will be still favorable to budget. Let's see what they will be. 446. No, actually, they'll be slightly unfavorable to budget once that 190 is made.
Tim, do you end up being fined if the total category hits budget? Or are we trying to install processes for each line so that the person who owns the budget can sort of manage that and come for requests and give us a heads up? You know, for example, you know, the fact that you're 35% over in the one line item. And I realize with all the staffing, there were various issues there, but the full-time officer, that being over. I can see here that the total category is under now and should come in just slightly over budget. My question is, do we have enough processes in place with all of these department heads now to be telling us on a monthly basis, or telling Carol on a monthly basis they're gonna run over, or ask a request if they're running over? Do we have a process in place for that?
I would say, I mean, the process really is in the selectmen's area.
Yep.
And so I'm not going to answer that. I can give recommendations, but I don't know, Carol, if you want to say anything to that.
I've talked to all the department heads, and they're supposed to, you know, give us a heads up if they're running over, and email so that the Board of Finance can know, that sort of thing. But I know in the past, the finance was always generally would make the comments as long as the bottom line is over, you know, is okay. Like kind of budget, or look to the bottom line when you're looking at these versus one line item here or there. So
yeah, I mean, managing the budget is in the selectmen's bucket, right? Monitoring the budget, I would say at a higher level is our job, and asking questions is our job. But I think, you know, whether it's through communications and via emails, whether it's staff meetings, whether it's quarterly budget reviews with managers, there are lots of ways to do it, but that's in the selectmen's bucket, as far as I'm concerned. And I think, and it's open for discussion, but I think if we saw something that was significantly out of control, then it's the finance board's job to highlight it and ask for, you know, corrections or corrective actions. But that's the way I see it.
And what percentage point would that be for you? When they're 10% over, 5% over, 35% over?
I think it depends. I mean, I don't have a number.
Right now, we're what, 35% over the overtime fund?
Yeah, so included in that is not just overtime, anytime officers or volunteer firefighters are hired for town events, that comes out of there. So like Deep River Days for the fireworks, or holiday stroll. If we had to get coverage from another, constable or other police, it goes in that line also.
Why wouldn't it go, I'm just curious, why wouldn't it go into the part-time? If you're hiring part-time people for the muster, why wouldn't it fall into the part-time bucket versus overtime bucket?
We could do that, that's just what this budget was
Okay.
called and for.
Because I just assume overtime means it's like time and a half or whatever the,
Yeah, but if the whole wording would come out, it would say trooper and muster.
okay.
And so it's muster meaning, again, muster, holiday stroll, all of those kinds of events. If we wanted to, going forward, have that go under a part-time, I don't know, we already have the budget set right now, but,
Right, so the fire police, everybody that you pay, that
everybody that we pay goes here, yeah.
So, I guess we can discuss this a little further. My experience in the corporate world is a manager's responsible for a budget at a high level. For instance, the police have a budget of $440,000. They're responsible for that budget. And I would have report outs on a quarterly basis, budget reviews with department heads. And as long as they're within favorable to their or at their budget of $440,000, they had authority to move money around within their budget. That's how I manage in the corporate world. I'm just the chairman here, right? I'm equal to you guys, and I'm new. So if you guys have other thoughts, ideas, and want to discuss it further, I'm open to it. But I don't think the finance board's job is to manage the town managers. I think
No,
that's-
no,
that-
most
that-
definitely it's not.
That's the selectmen's
But what
job.
do we do when something's 35% over?
Well, I guess we have the right to, if we think it warrants that, we would ask the selectmen to look into that and report back to us.
And unfortunately, you have to also remember that there was some turnover in the staffing of the trooper, so there wasn't someone that was able to watch over all of this. And when officers were doing overtime and whatnot.
I just want to make sure that it's for legitimate overtime, not working a road job and then working your patrol hours and getting time and a half to do your basic job.
Right.
That's my concern.
So when a budget is set for a department and there's an overage and it goes over budget, that decision is made by whom?
When it's,
The over goes, who says, okay, you can spend this money that
are you talking
weren't
about in
budgeted?
total or on a line?
Just in general, just for understanding purposes. If you're given a certain amount of money that you spend, and you spend more than that amount of money within whatever your province is, how does that come about? Where does that extra money come from now?
Well, first of all, we're in good shape as far as total budget, so we don't have that to worry about at this point. But if a manager is going to be over budget, the expectation is that manager is communicating with the select person.
Okay.
And that select person is in charge of the town. So that select person would either, tell that manager, you cannot go over
Cannot.
budget, find ways to cut. Or the select person would come to the finance board and say, we're gonna be over budget 440,000, we're gonna be over budget by X, and we need to get approval for that, because there's a certain level that the board can approve, and then there's a certain level that they can't approve, and it's gotta go to a town vote. So my answer as the new person here, and you guys have been on for a long time, but as the new person, I would expect the manager, in this case, we're talking about the police, would go to the selectmen, the first selectman, and say, I have an issue, I'm gonna be over budget, this is why I'm gonna be over budget. And then the select person will have feedback to that manager, either totally unacceptable, I need a corrective action, or I understand the issue, I'll bring it to the finance board for discussion. That's the way I would see it. Again, I'm just one person here. Just because I have the name chairman doesn't, I'm equal to everybody at this table. So I'm just the one who coordinates the meeting.
It sounds reasonable, Tim, and are we pretty much following that?
Pretty much following it, yes. I know the firemen came last year when they were going to be over on their training line and made us all aware.
Yeah.
And,
But I do know that per the state Connecticut rules, that people just can't go over budget without getting authority. And we only have enough authority to make decisions up to $10,000. And after that goes to a town meeting, so.
didn't we, I think we voted to make it 20 or something.
Is it 20?
I think so. I can look it up.
I'm being more conservative now. So that's the process. I mean, if we were sitting here and suddenly we're looking at a police budget of $660,000 instead of $440, obviously there'd be a huge red flag here, there'd be long discussions, what's going on, and there would have to be a disclosure to the town, in a town vote of some, and an explanation, I would think. We're not in that situation, that's good news, but if it was, I imagine that's what would happen. Because we would all be saying, what's going on? As far as individual line items, me personally, I think the manager department is responsible for the total. And unless we see something wildly out of control, that's just me personally. But you guys all have the authority to raise your hand and question. And
That answered my question.
I'm just
Thank
the
you.
conductor, I think. Okay. All right, any other questions on the police budget? And I guess because with so much discussion on the police, it'd probably be a good idea for, it could be a budget. I'll leave it up to Carol if she wants to have discussions with the trooper and give us any kind of update. But
I
that's up
would
to
be
you.
happy to, yep.
Could I just ask one quick question about this too? Is we pay the state troopers one lump sum at the end of the year?
Yes.
So the
They-
11,000 we've already paid, why would we have that?
Because there's also times when they do overtime and we get an invoice. That's where the 11 is.
So then that will probably be over budget.
It looks like they're gonna be unfavorable to budget, because when I add the 190 to the current, we're at 446 already. So it's trending slightly over budget.
I'm just thinking the 201 will now be 212.
Yeah. Yeah, so 256. Well, no, it's already in there, though. It was already at them in the actuals. Yeah, so we're trending at about 446 compared to 440.
And that's the 6,000 overage. That's what it comes back to.
Well, we still have two
No,
more
I think
pay-
it's gonna
we
be
still have two
closer to
more pay
20,000
periods,
over.
What?
2 more pay periods,
Do we?
right?
Yeah.
We have 3 more pay periods.
Because we're showing 190 left, but we actually still owe them 201.
Yeah. Well, let's take a little more time. So a full-time officer is at 97%. So they're slightly over budget right now. So considering we have another payment to make this month, they're going to be, this one's gonna be over budget, full-time officer,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
The part-time officer is at 41.2%. So right now, they're very favorable to budget, and because it's we have 3 payrolls coming up.
Right, and I
they'll-
believe
they'll
that was
con-
budgeted for 2.
So that
part-timers.
will continue to be
Yeah.
favorable, and more than offset the full-time. The crossing guard is a small amount, and that they're on budget, actually a little favorable budget. Overtime is $6,000 over. Uniforms is well below budget. Accreditation is well below budget. Resident trooper, we already know it's gonna be 11,000 over budget. And telephone, looks like it's right on budget. Community engagement is,
Non-existent.
yes, very favorable to budget. Motor vehicle maintenance is slightly over budget. And the Axon program is very favorable. We haven't spent anything on that yet. So,
Is that a one-time payment or something, that Axon program, or it won't be spent? Or we don't know?
What is Axon? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Following you
It's the
guys.
body cams and stuff like that.
Oh, are you still in the police?
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I've got the police at about $458,000 to a budget of $440.
Well, the full-time officer line was always going to be incorrect because his rate changed.
So that's 18,000 over budget.
And a third of that is overtime for the full-time officer.
It's about
So
4%
far.
of the budget.
And the resident trooper.
All right, moving on. Fire department is well below budget.
Now, there was some discussion at the first town meeting about the timing of fire department expenditures. So it's below budget. I don't know if they're all gonna come in at the end.
Well, my first question in relation to that is fireman's incentive, the 49,000, is that's the June payment? Okay, that's June. Training. Yeah, I don't know, Kate, I don't see any, maybe the fire equipment that they were talking about?
Yes, that was what they were talking about, that we were 17,000 under for next year's budget. And we were going by run rate, but. And I'm just wondering if there's something, or maybe it's already done as part of a process where you go out, all these groups, some point as we close in on the year, or as we're doing the budget process, again, to ask, are you anticipating spending this full sum, the balance of the year? Because we're basing next year's budget off our run rate of this year. So I don't know for the fire department, I'm just raising this because it was brought up at the town meeting.
That idea might reach out in like March
Yeah.
to see. It'd be like a nice thing to do.
I'm a little,
Say, what's it look like, your projection?
I'm a little concerned doing an email like that. I'll speak from experience, my wife worked in the school system and I'd be like, okay, we've got to spend it all by the end of June.
Yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so I'm not in favor of like,
That is, yeah.
these emails that say, what are you going to spend, the year's almost up. It almost motivates people to,
Well, is there another way of approaching it then, so that they understand that responsibility is to alert us in some way if it's gonna be under or over?
well, I would say over, it should be. If it's going to be under, it's going to be under.
All right, maybe it's an anomaly, and then it comes in when they come in for the budget and are presenting what they anticipate for the next year. It can be covered then.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Fire marshal, 69%.
So
Well,
I'm curious with that, is we transferred money into the deputy marshal, and it looks like he hasn't spent any money at all.
Right. The way that gentleman gets paid is Adam will say, hey, can you cut a check for, remember his name?
Richardson.
Rich. And so he is aware that he needs to get him paid. We
Okay.
discussed that recently.
Okay, communications, that's over budget. We understand what's going on there with the fire and radio. monitoring, fire radio monitoring. Civil preparedness, 35%. So it's a small budget, but we haven't spent much there.
Cindy, can you give insight on that? Are we planning on spending it this fiscal year?
Emergency management? Yes, for the stipend, yeah.
Civil preparedness of 1,500 that hasn't been spent.
Yep.
Do you plan to spend it?
Well, I mean, if we're going to look at doing the CERT training, we could certainly spend it that way.
Because you have what, 5 weeks starting? Is that, yeah, 5 weeks before the year's over.
Highway Department, I do have questions here. So we haven't spent, or we spent very little on Town Aid Road and general road maintenance, so we have,
Remember, Town Aid Road is now in capital. It just needs to have the budget moved.
okay. So, well, my bigger question is, have we spent anything? I mean, we have 5 weeks left. So my question is, if we don't spend the general road and Town Aid, does that roll over to next year?
Because it's in capital.
Because it's in
Yeah.
capital, okay. So we're not gonna have like rush over the next 3 or 4 weeks to start doing major paving? Okay. Does everybody understand that?
Yep. So when does paving start?
June-ish something.
All right, that was my only question on, and obviously we know what happened with salt and sand. Public utilities. We're right on budget, over budget for street lighting, but on budget total. Waste removal, 78.5%.
Yeah, I think the second line there, water tests and engineering, I think, because I noticed back in my line for selectmen, the engineering was very low, so I think some engineering got put in the wrong spot. If you go back to page 2, the engineering for the selectmen's office is only 9% spent. So I think some of the engineering for some of those Jacobson bills are probably supposed to be in that other line.
All right, I'll work with Paula and to do an entry what you left on. All right, so that's waste removal. Sanitarium is, looks like it's trending slightly above budget. Is that?
Could we go back to the waste removal for a minute? Last meeting, whatever, I asked about the bulky waste, and Dwayne said you guys were putting out an RFP for it, for that $130,800. I think that's an enormous fee to chop up wood.
It's for everything, Carmella.
Chop it.
It's the wood, it's the disposal of our debris, it's all the dumpsters that they fill up with building debris. That's all in that line item.
But
It's
that's
not-
still a lot of money. Did you put it out for, did you
It went
get
out,
any
it went
bids
out to
on
bid.
it?
Yeah, it went out to bid.
Yeah, for the brush and grinding,
Went out to bid.
but
Went
so
out.
that's included in this.
Right. How much does that come to?
Eric had told us it was about 100,000 for this year.
Yeah, I thought I remembered 110, but yes.
110
How
what?
many bids came in for the grinding of that stuff?
I think
Now, like
Three came in on
Three.
time and one came in a day late.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 4 altogether.
But it's been the same contractor for the last couple of years, is that my understanding on that? Okay.
And this, for bulky waste, it can only be
Yeah,
personal bulky waste, it
Yeah.
can't be commercial,
that should be,
correct?
what's that?
Whoever's allowed to use our transfer station is the bulky waste from them.
It should be looked at.
So,
What should we-
commercial tree surgeons and commercial builders can use it?
That bidding process on both, grinding and stuff.
A little yes and no, not large commercial, like we have local landscapers that will use it and they pay per load, they'll pay the $40 or whatever. They come in. So they do pay when they come in.
So we got 4 responses for the tree grinding, 1 late, And then when do we unseal, do we already unseal those?
Yes, so he's already awarded it, but I couldn't remember what the number was, so that's why I didn't want to throw it
Yeah.
out, but it's probably about like 100 or whatever Eric said it was.
Is it less than what we're paying now?
No. No, but it's in next year's number, like, we're fine, because we anticipated that would be more expensive.
Is it going to include the total cleanup of the area?
Those quotes.
That was a discussion when I was down there.
I didn't realize
somebody.
they awarded, so I
Yeah.
wrote it down to ask.
Right, that was definitely noted.
So this is probably big enough at the next finance meeting. Can we get a rundown of what the quotes were?
Oh, absolutely. We actually, one of the contractors asked, so I have it on my email. I can send it
Yeah,
over to you.
yeah, or just send it to me, I'll send it to the board
Yeah.
group. I think it's important that we get disclosed, that's such a big number.
I agree.
And so many people have asked.
So I'll send it to you, Tim, and you can just submit it.
Did
I
Eric
believe
tell them?
rough bids were, the low bidder was in the 60 range. The
Right.
next bidder was in the 90 range. The next bidder was in the 120 range. And then the late guy was in the 90 range.
And that's for all three services, right? 3 times a year or 4 times a year?
3 times a year.
So it's 100, so 60 range out of $130,000 is about half.
Again,
But
this
you have to
includes-
remember, we get $100,000 from the town of Chester to bring their brush to us. So if you look at what we're getting in for income and what we're spending,
Okay, I'm slow on this. We give whoever's doing this gets wood, the wood that's down there, trees, branches, whatever,
They
chops
grind
it
it
up. Now they have mulch, which they're going to sell. So we are giving them a product, they work it, and then they turn around and sell it. And yet we're paying them $130,800 in addition to bulky waste, whatever
you
that
aren't
is. That's,
paying them 130, you're paying them 60,000, Carmella. The bid was in the $60,000 range, I don't know the exact number.
now, but that's not what we're paying
That's the
now.
that's the new bid
60 per grinding, 60 per what?
for the year.
For the year. The one we accepted was 60 per year, roughly 60 per year.
I thought it was higher, honestly, but
It's 20-something thousand of grinding, I
it's
believe.
it's a episode, right? And they're gonna do it 3 times a year. So this bulky waste right here includes what the town, when we have those big bulky dumpsters at the transfer station, that's all in there as well.
Okay,
So
like
grinding and
mattresses
tree
and that
stuff
sort
is
of
in there,
thing.
and then the dumpsters that go out to, the construction debris, that costs come in.
Is the vendor on an automatic payment system, or is the vendor submitting an invoice every time the work's actually done?
He submits an invoice, that's how he has done it in the past.
Okay, I think if you send out the bids to everybody and
Yeah,
then,
I'll
and then after the next finance meeting, if people have questions, more questions, we can, that along with who was selected. Any other questions on that? All right, we're down to social services. And did we change the name or no? Or it's always been social services? Is that the one that was
We
called
changed the
nurse?
name. Yeah, we changed the name.
Okay, yeah. I know you asked.
I probably got the name changed.
Yeah, okay. So social services, they are favorable to budget and,
Tim?
yes.
188 yeses, 360 no. Total votes, 548.
Say that again?
188 yeses.
188 yes,
300 something.
360 no.
That's a lot of people voting.
Total 548, and it's only 824. So I think they still have some absentees or whatever.
Wow.
Guess we're staying to midnight.
Well, let's get this done and then have a quick conversation about that.
Because
So,
one more question before we go on waste removal. What does public facility mean?
That means all waste picks up from all our town clerks and from the library, and that's all.
Exactly.
Along that line.
Exactly, this is just the beginning.
I can call and tell them to stay open.
I expected that. When I heard big numbers, people don't come in big numbers to say yes.
I agree.
So,
Well, as they
Unless
say
it's a
at-
school budget.
But they say at the Board of Ed meeting, it's not about the numbers, it's about communication. We've got more people out in
Yeah.
the past.
Actually, yes, those signs are great. They got people organized. I think they were great, I don't
I want to go on record with
know.
something.
Maybe not.
I want to go on record saying that Tim did an excellent job communicating his budget.
Yeah.
Supported it. And I actually saw it, people were sharing it today online,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
saying, you know, like, supporting it, saying this
River
is
townies and that sort of thing.
somewhere, I don't know what.
But the problem is, most people, all they see is the mill rate and their impact on their house.
Right.
And they, you know, the fact that most of it was caused by the reval is only interesting at that point, because you know, only what, 40, 50 people came to the town meeting.
But, you know, the numbers that you put out were, you said they were average, but, you know, some people's taxes went down.
Yeah.
Like if you go in and you do that assessment calculator, you put in your assessment with the new mill rate, you know, they weren't going up $1,000, so some people went down a couple hundred. Because then your taxes on your cars went down, you know, so overall, it wasn't really as,
Well,
you know, gloom and doom as it seemed.
I ran everybody's house. And I'll tell you, the average is $1,200. Some people are paying $2,000. Some people are paying $600. Some, it's a small group, but some people are paying less, and some people are paying big time more. Those
Right, but
River
then you
Road
have to
places.
calculate people's motor vehicles went down.
$200,
So
yeah.
their tax bill maybe isn't as the 1,000, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the article in the Valley Courier had wrong numbers. Like, it was very misleading. It's unfortunate.
So, all right, before we get to that conversation, let's just wrap this up, because we'll be having a good conversation in a minute. All right, page 10, library, basically on budget, moving fast now. Probate court, on budget. Park and Rec, they're on budget with some challenges, so it'll be interesting where they end the year. But right now, they're on budget. And then we have the elementary school and regional, and those are just payments that are coming for June. The redemption of debt will be favorable because we had one bond that was already paid off. And then, last page 12, political subdivisions. That's at.
It's Rivercon and all.
Yeah, slightly over budget, but we're talking about a small budget. So, I don't see anything that's crazy.
I think Park and Rec is gonna end up over. Because she's gonna have her last week of June, she'll have camp, salary. Camp will start that last week.
Does she have, okay.
She's got a couple of gate cards already going on,
Yeah.
so, you know, some charges will come in for that.
All right, I was gonna go to the next package that Paula sent out, but I think we'll defer that to the next meeting. And let's talk, let's go to other business. And I guess an appropriate other business is, we just got a no vote. This is my first time as chair here, and as member. When was the last no vote that the town got? Anybody have any memory of one?
What was the question?
Last no vote.
When
What was the last no
Town
vote?
budget ever get voted down?
Do you remember one?
Not since I've been a selectman.
I don't remember one.
All right, so, next step, right? I mean, are we gonna get together as a
Budget
complete?
workshops again.
Yeah, I guess.
It'd be great if we could somehow get a sense of why it's voted down. Is it just the, I don't mean just, but is it the property assessment, the reevaluation? Or is there anything specifically in the budget that people are taking an issue with?
It'll be interesting to see, are we allowed to have a list of the people that voted? Because they sit there and check off the names. Because I guess I would wonder, did parents get out a lot, or was, because when I went in there at 1:30, it was, everybody was older than I was. And it was packed for voting. So is it the senior citizens that were voting no, or younger people because they can't, it would be nice to know so we could get a handle on what their concerns are. design.
Their concerns are probably that they can't afford it. That's wwhy they vote no, because they don't have enough money to pay for it, or they don't think they have enough money.
Yeah, I mean, people are on fixed incomes.
You know, because obviously we're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, I mean, the question is yes, no. So the only information we have is yes, no. But my gut says that, you know, those no's aren't because the budget is too low. It's too high. So they're expecting a lower budget. Our challenge, for the record here, our challenge is we had a very minimal increase in town expenses. The biggest increase in the tax bill has to do with the revaluation, because it shifted the cost, or shifted the tax burden from commercial to residential, which is why on average, the average house is going up $1,200. 900 of that is having to do with the revaluation. The town doesn't get any more money for that. It's just a shift from commercial to residential. So then you go down the list from there, the next big one is the firehouse bond. And off the top of my head, what was it, $288 more this month. It'll go up next year because it'll be a full bond. And then the next piece is the town expenses, which was, I don't have the presentation.
31 cents, wasn't it? 31 cents of every dollar.
No, I'm talking about the increase to the $1,200.
Just 1% increase, I thought.
Yeah, but what I was breaking down, the $1,200 on average house, 900 is due to reval, 288 is due to the firehouse, and then whatever the math is there, it's, it's like $100 is from the town expenses. So, we're not gonna get there from reducing town expenses, and we can't touch reval. And I don't know if we can touch firehouse. I mean,
Because we had a referendum.
So can we look at ways to increase revenue? I know that the town of Essex, don't everybody shoot me at once, charges $125 to use the dump, to use the transfer station. So if you don't get your garbage picked up and you decide to take it yourself, you pay $125 a year. We have a very nice dock. Only some people use it to launch their boats. Should we be charging to launch your boats there? Is there a way to increase revenue by doing things that other towns are doing? I don't know how much you get out of that, but I think even if we don't do it this year, we've got to be thinking about that kind of thing.
I think people, this is just presumption, but I think people voted no because this is something maybe they feel they can control. They can't control the price of gas, they can't control the price of their food, they can't control what's happening globally and all the things they have to buy, but they can go and vote and they can say, no, I'm not going to pay this amount of money in my taxes. You take care of it, you cut things because I'm not paying it. So it's a way, I think, for people to have control over some piece of their life.
So what do you think the services we should cut are? Because that's really what it comes down to.
That's a good question. I don't know. What are we cutting?
Exactly.
How are we going to cut?
And how much?
There were, on the Deep River Townies, I was reading a thing, they were complaining about the town park, about Platwood Park. The sand is yucky, the cabana or whatever it's called is dirty, there are weeds growing, things aren't taken care of, but do they want to pay a fee to get in there? To maybe enhance that so that we have some money to allow them to use that park? Or is it going to be a freebie, and the same as you just said with the dump? What town doesn't charge to pick up your trash? You're charged.
I also think too, people are, if they're gonna pay more money, they wanna see improvements to the town. The roads are atrocious.
Yep.
44 miles of them, and we need half of them paved right now. I mean, that's just an outsider's opinion on what I see day to day. People are probably willing to pay, but they wanna see things tidied up and things done to the town. And like we all just talked about, the budget did not increase very much at all. So,
Or with what you're saying, Barry, it's $1 million a mile
okay,
to pave a road.
I hear you.
So,
Or to fill up the holes, so they're not bumping their cars going out of their lane to go around the hole.
So if it's $1 million a mile, how come we only got $130,000 from the water company?
how many,
They were just gonna repave the
one
trench they
strip.
dug, and we didn't want the strip.
Right, I know, but what I'm saying is that, I don't know how long High Street is, but it's gotta be half a mile?
because a road is a 12-foot wide or 24-foot wide, not a 4-foot strip. Because they're only gonna repave what they tore up. But again, we could put $5 million a year into a budget for paving, and you wouldn't make a,
Well, we're not gonna, because they voted no for a budget that we didn't even increase. So the issue that we have is the issue we have is we're not gonna come up with town reductions that are gonna offset the revow. We're just not. Yes.
Well, I mean, unless we look at an absolute restructuring of the way that we're spending money and start going with zero-based budgeting for every department in town, which takes an education process, and it's not gonna happen this cycle, I don't think. That's a thought process and really reevaluating the money that we're spending. And I think that's what people are speaking to. They're getting tired of the same way that things are done.
And I think we can go through the exercise, painful as it is, of going through the budget and just see where we might cut. I don't know what the timing is or when we, by law, need to come back with another budget to them with the referendum. I don't know if it's similar to the school timing.
It's very tough because the tax collector needs to get the bills out.
And what I do think is that, Mike, I'm not done speaking. Whatever we do, and I know we're gonna have some workshops on this, I would encourage us not to do what the school board did, which was go back without a single change. I just think that was, it's disrespectful. They're telling us something.
When do we have to have it done or like voted on either way? Like when's the deadline?
Well, I think, when the tax bills go up, June
I think
1st?
July 1st, you
July.
just revert to the same budget you had this year until the new budget passes. So she'd send out the tax bills, and then if there's a supplemental or a reduction or something.
Yeah, but you can't with the revow.
Well, the reval makes it tricky, but
Yeah.
I'll
I
have to do a
thought
little
she had
research
said
on that.
that she had to use the old mill rate, which would really be crazy.
That would be really nuts.
So we've gotta fix this, we can't do that. At 33, that would, people would be tripling their taxes.
Well,
So-
maybe you just say everybody's department budget freezes, and then you're, whatever you had last year is what you
That
get.
still doesn't, because we didn't add that much.
No, I know, but that's gonna save something, because I believe, what Catherine said, it's very insulting that the Board of Ed did that to the residents,
I agree.
especially at Deep River. you know.
Listen, we can have a budget workshop, we can dedicate hours to it, we can go through each line item, have discussion and debate, whether it's freeze or reduce, and at least we're gonna give something to the town. But I've looked through these so many times, we're not gonna come up with some magic bullet, even with zero, and no matter what you call it, we're not gonna come up with a magic bullet.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
The zero base isn't gonna happen this cycle, like I said, because people don't know how to do that, and it takes a long time. But I also don't think that we're gonna do it by cutting copy paper and printing supplies. I mean, that's enough, you know, it's not gonna happen that way. I'm still of the opinion that we need to look at payroll.
At what, payroll?
Payroll.
so what are you looking at, cutting personnel?
Well, I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, not personnel, I'm talking about payroll reductions, not taking raises this year like the rest of us.
Well, I mean, we have a union negotiation, we have money in the budget for that.
Has that
What's the
already
status of
occurred?
the
Has
union
that already
negotiation?
happened?
It's wide open, so therefore there's
Has the
nothing
union set their budget?
No, we're still negotiating.
So it's wide open.
So right now, everybody's like kind of a pay freeze now, like come July 1st, no one's getting a raise, nothing's been decided on, so.
Yeah, because, I mean, payroll's two things. One is, it's union negotiated, we're in negotiations, we can say, you know, whatever in negotiations, I won't say how you're gonna negotiate, it's not my role. But the only other thing you do with salaries is reduction, so those are the two levers.
So Tim, this is fresh news, the rejection of the budget. Do you think we might want to set a date to be working on this and then have us all come in with concrete suggestions of possible reductions and possible revenue growth?
Yeah. Well, obviously, at the end of this, we need to set dates. Okay. So are we ready to set dates now, or do we want to keep on discussing?
No, we need to do it now.
Well, let's start with this week.
Thursday's fine for me. But you gotta have
I
work week.
could do Thursday.
I
What-
can do Thursday.
I can't do Thursday, but that's okay, you guys meet.
Yeah, I'm out too.
But, you know,
This Thursday?
gotta start meeting, so that's fine, you know.
But today is Tuesday.
No for you,
right?
Mike?
Wednesday?
What time are we thinking?
Well, you have a recommendation?
What about tomorrow?
What works? Well, before we go to
We usually at what, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah,
When?
Like
Thursday,
Thursday,
we're talking
6
Thursday
o'clock.
right now.
Yep.
6?
I do struggle with Carol not being there, to be honest.
Is there, Carol, do you have time before Thursday to sit with, and I don't know whether this is, like, we'd have to post it as a meeting, to sit with us during the day or something, to come up with some ideas that we can bring to the workshop?
What about Friday? You're out.
I can make weekend time if we need to.
Yeah, I could do weekend, I could do Monday.
I can only do, well, I can do either Saturday or Sunday, I suppose. All right, do we have any votes for weekend?
I think we should meet Thursday. If you can meet with
I'm
Carol ahead of
comfortable.
time, if she has time.
Tomorrow's a no-go for everybody?
It's the governance workshop, I don't know if you folks can get out of that.
And the Region 4 meeting at 4:30.
Yeah, I've got the governance task force at 6.
Who cannot make it on Thursday? Carol? Two people? All right, let's have our first one on Thursday at 6.
Someone needs to bring cupcakes for my birthday, that's all I'm saying. I don't care which one of you does it.
6 o'clock?
Yeah,
Well, I gotta be here now if it's cupcakes.
okay. So we're gonna have to have another meeting.
Who cannot be here on Thursday? Carol and?
I cannot,
I'll be there, I'll
You'll be
make
here.
adjustments.
Oh, Cindy, you can't make it either?
Okay, so Thursday at 6. How about Monday?
We're not gonna look at the weekend?
No. June 1st?
Yep.
Catherine, I'll do the on the weekend.
What's that?
I'll meet with you on the weekend. You can go to the plant sale or the Soma celebration on
So we
Saturday.
gotta take money or cup money.
So Monday, June 1st.
Monday, June 1st.
Who cannot do Monday, June 1st?
I think I can, I think I can.
6 o'clock?
John, is there a Board of Ed meeting on Monday at 6 o'clock?
Region 4.
District meeting, Region
Yeah.
4 district meeting.
The 4th is the joint board meeting.
So 6 PM on the 1st?
Okay.
Yep. And then the next.
Is it possible to meet earlier in the day instead of 6 o'clock? So you're not here till 9 and 10 o'clock at night?
Well, how early are you talking? 'Cause
I don't
have a full-time job.
know, you're working, so
What's
Well-
earliest for you that
Well,
works?
my question is, how early are you guys thinking? That's my
Can
question.
you do 5?
can we do lunch?
No, it's too early for me. You guys can do it without me.
No.
What's your earliest you can get comfortably down from East Topsfield?
3:30 I can leave.
So what about
4
4:30?
o'clock, 4:30?
It's a half hour trying to get through traffic.
I don't want to do that to you. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock. Is 5 o'clock comfortable for you?
Yeah, should be.
For Thursday and Monday, or just?
Yep.
All right. Everybody else, 5 o'clock on Thursday?
Yes.
and 5 o'clock on Monday. How about the next day, Tuesday? 5 o'clock. Anyone can't make it?
I have a commitment at 6 o'clock on Tuesday.
I'm out.
But it'll be done in an hour, so I can get here by 7.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
And
All
that's
right.
the Region 4 budget, budget referendum too, Tuesday.
So what time on Tuesday?
5 o'clock.
All the meetings will be at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to schedule any more than this?
No, I'd say we start with that.
All right, Joy. Boy, am I glad I took this role. My camera's, I'm very appreciative.
We're glad you Thank you, Board, this is a lot of work.
Okay.
Doesn't anybody else feel frustrated that we have no say whatsoever over the Board of Ed budget? It's like, we don't even bring that up as,
Well, that'll be part of the discussion, because we're
Yeah,
only
it'll
gonna,
be. Well,
everybody can vote on the Regional 4 budget next Tuesday.
right, but.
And the
it just
elementary
seems like
school?
it's so out of our
It is.
control. And
So I have that one down too.
It is,
it's
very
like,
frustrating.
is that something that we just throw our hands up on, or is that something that we look down the road, you know, other ways that?
No, we're trying to look down the road to see.
there's a lot of activity, but it's very frustrating. Hey, John, probably let your board know a heads up, because I suspect, you're on the table too for elementary.
Understood.
All right, any other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done.